And welcome to another episode of the Kat Mak Talk Show. And I have the wonderful Kribashini Hannon that wears so many hats. Now, I can talk about all your hats, or I can get you to talk about your hats, but I will actually just talk about three. Leading Aussie building strategist, which I love the fact that you're all about building with women, for women. You're also the founder of Build, Play, Live and Build Her. However, amongst all these hats that you have and a family and babies and children and all the rest of it, you're officially a best-selling author of the Empower Her series. Congratulations. Everybody does not put their pen to paper and write their ish down. People think that everybody does it, and they don't. And it is very, I read your story and I cried. And see, I'm tearing, goose pimples. And I will actually ask you, before I get into bits of your chapter, what inspired you to write this book?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I'll start with I actually found it really, really hard to sit down and write my story. And what inspired me to write my story was actually that fact that I kept putting it off. I didn't want to do it. I thought it was going to be hard, and it was really hard. It hurt a lot to write it and revisit a lot of those memories. And I kind of felt like, no, I need to do it. And as you're an entrepreneur, people do ask you, what is your story? What's led you to be here? And it's one of those questions where I'm like, there's so much. Where do I start? I don't even know what to say. How do I dwill it down into like one sentence? And so, yeah, that's really what prompted me to sit down and write it. I kind of needed to have a reason to sit down and write it. And I needed to have, I've been meaning to do. It's something I've been needing to do. And it's something I don't want to do. So I'm going to do it.
I've been meaning to do something that I wanted to do, something that scared me, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And this is the beauty of having women of, I say women of power, because you are a woman of power. And power means a lot of things. But the fact that I have women such as yourself on my show, you inspire somebody out there to do something else. And that's what it's all about. This is what resonated with me when I read your chapter. And let's just talk about this. Ignoring the whispers. That's what you talked about. Ignoring the whispers. Baby in tow, the pressure to show up was enormous. This is what resonated with me. I learned some hard life lessons about being in business. So, and you talk about the grief. It's real. It's real. So, do you want to expand on ignoring the whispers, or whatever you'd like to just expand on, to share a little bit of your journey and your wisdom for women out there that are feeling like you were, and what wisdom you can share that they can take away and go, you know what, I can resonate with this woman and this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me start with the context around that memory, perhaps. I remember that situation that was leading into an event that we hadn't been invited to speak at in Thailand. And I just had my baby, my first baby, and he'd come after a trial of tragedies and misfortunes.
And
Which, I haven't.
So sorry and humbled that you wrote about it.
Yeah, it was. When I was writing it, I was reliving all those emotions and those memories. The funny thing for me is I still kind of live with them on a day-to-day basis because I still live in their house where those things happened. And so if I let myself, I can very much get back into that place, and I try not to, on a daily basis. But when I was writing that sentence, I really thought about what did I want to give. And so for me, those whispers, there's always the whispers in the back of your head saying you shouldn't do something, saying this isn't the ideal scenario. It's, it's going to be hard. You're going to have to bring the baby. He's 3 months old. He's still breastfeeding. How are you going to go on stage when you're still breastfeeding? Who's going to look after the baby? And, as women, we just get the million questions that comes through our head. And there's always the easy answer. no, the easy thing is to bow out of this opportunity. The easy thing is to stay at home, be in my cocoon, be in my baby bubble, and do that, like give myself the vision that I had of that mat leave, what that mat leave was going to be like. Even though it had gone from being 12 months to being 6 months to truly probably only being 6 to 8 weeks, if I'm really
Mhm.
honest with myself. And you have to put things into perspective. And I just thought to myself, well, if I don't go, what's going to happen? Right. And so that pressure to show up was kind of like, I felt like I really needed to show up for myself, show up for my business, show up for my business partner at the time as well, show up for my community, and show up for the movement that we were leading, So that pressure to do that was enormous. But because of that pressure, like for me, pressure is a good thing. And I love pressure. And I think that pressure shows us how we choose to resolve ourselves and how we choose to stand up in that moment. And for that time, I still had my baby bubble. I took him with me. I love that I took him with me. We hung by the pool. We didn't go out. We didn't explore Bangkok. We just went to the event. We hung out by the pool. And you know what? He slept like a dream. It was amazing.
That
My business partner time, she brought her daughter along and, we made a thing of it. And I thought to myself, you know what? I could shrink into the background and not do the things, or I could just do the things and still have the experience I want. And when I look back on that now, I'm so proud of myself for doing it. And you can always look back on things with a rose colored lens, or you can look back on it and you can say, I shouldn't have done those things. But for me, I don't focus in that stuff. I just need to just kind of move through it, enjoy it for what it is, take it for what it is, and then keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. It reminded me of when my son, your story I can resonate with because it reminds me of when, for way back in the day when I was in retail ops, I would take my son to do store visits.
Yep.
And
Why not?
in fact, there's a local shopping centre which those around the world may not know called Chadston. And one of the stores that I managed way back when, I used to pop him in the fixtures in the window. He was 6 months old.
Yeah.
I have photos of him in fixtures, in boxes, in you name it. You've just got to do what you got to do. What inspiration can you share with women that are feeling like you just said that you're an adrenaline junkie? So
Mm-hmm.
you love the pressure. But what is it that you do back of house that keeps you grounded? Because you just said there's stuff that has happened in my life that, and they're quite big. And I live in the house right now, which is what you said. And I can go back there, but I choose not to. What do you do to help yourself to not get back there?
That's a great question. I think at the end of the day, there's how much credence and importance you place on things. And for me, my husband has been through it all with me. So he's my great support, like sense of support. And he often says he has to grab my balloon and pull me down to earth a little bit, which he does
No,
have to do a
no,
lot.
we love that about you. No, stay up there.
He likes to put me back into reality, but he's very grounding for me. And I've always said what I look for in my partner is someone who's going to tell me the truth, no matter whether I want to hear it or not. Right. So if I'm doing something that, poor form or, whatever, I know I've got that trust in him to say, hey, that wasn't so great. So I feel like I've got this great sounding board and this great witness to my life. And he's a big part of that. But also, I'm really close to my family, my brother, my sister, and my mum. I speak to my mum a lot. And she's just always been a really strong guide in my life. And so my mum is here. And then with our home, I had this little thought the other day, well, just when I was in the bathroom before, because, that's where, actually in both bathrooms, I've had that experience. But, I've renovated those bathrooms, I've changed them. It was really fun to renovate the family bathroom and move out of that was the place, where I lost our first child. And so when I had my second, who is actually my eldest now, we renovated that bathroom before he was born. And it was great to put this new touch on it, completely change it. Changed it from being sort of a long, narrow space to something that was light drenched and had color and this cute pink basin. I put some love and attention to the things that I picked for that bathroom for him and for the way that, our family was going to use that bathroom. And then in our own bathroom, it was really great to like change that carcass and make that special. But those memories are going to be held in the places that you are, no matter what you do and where you are.
Mm.
And they're held with us. So I've probably gone off on a tangent.
No, because I love the story. You know, there is something to be said by being in the spaces,
Yeah.
because you just said what you did to get you through stuff. And sometimes we tend to bottle everything up. And instead of being where it happened and being in acknowledging
Yeah.
the stuff. Because as women, we tend to like, okay, it's all good until life happens for you, smashes you in the face, and you're like, whoa, where'd that come from?
But you know what? I probably should say I am one who's not afraid to ask for help. So in both instances, when I feel myself going there, I do counseling. I have this amazing counselor I've worked with through my very first ectopic pregnancy. She helped me work through it. And so, I don't do it often, but when I need it, I go back to it. And she's really got me out of those tough times every time.
Hmm. Yeah. And seeking help, which is something that I never did. I did, but I didn't do it as often enough.
Mm.
Very, very important. What has been your greatest achievement thus far?
My goodness.
Because I'm hoping you're going to say what you're going to say. I don't know. Because what are you going to say?
Well, my greatest achievement so far.
And there's multitudes. Like you're just got so many, so many hats that I want you to talk about. I want you to talk about what you do because it's so cool. So, what is your achievement? One of them,
My
just
greatest.
one that inspires you to continue on.
I'm gonna have to say my children.
Good.
I I'm so blessed to have them. I fought so hard to get them, and I just love them. I just love having them around. I love bringing them to places with me. I love sharing my interests with them.
That
I
is so
love breaking back
important.
with them. Yeah,
I
I
love the
do think that.
fact that you do that. That your kids are so involved in everything that you do, because that's so important.
I mean, my eldest now wants nothing to do with building and construction. So maybe I went too hard that way, which is funny. But
Will change.
yeah. I mean, right? It's diggers and excavators and it's nail guns and hammers. How does he not love it?
And that'll change. So talk to me about Build, Play, Live and Build Her,
Sure.
because I think they're amazing.
Wow, there's a bit of history there. So, as you know, I co-founded Build Her back in I want to say 2017 is probably when we launched. And at that time, I was still working full time as a commercial client side project manager, managing these multi-million dollar projects for people.
Hmm.
And, the synthesis of what I had learned through my career from taking an idea and bringing it to life was something that we wanted to bring to the residential industry. And I really had this vision that we could make things better and easier for people. And so we co-founded that back in 2017, and that just grew like you wouldn't believe. And the community that we built around that was just absolutely fantastic. So many women who were then inspired to think about their renovation and extension in a different way.
Okay, so talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, well, like we were really uncovering the process in a lot of ways, like uncovering the murky process that sat behind it. But the funny thing about construction is that the rules change a lot. Regulations change, new generations come through. And what's happened here in Australia, and I'm sure around the whole world, is that COVID really impacted the cost and affordability of building and renovating. And so at the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, I left Build Her and went out on my own to create Build, Play, Live. And it was another time of grief for me. And I had to really work my way through that grief. But what came out of that was this idea for Build, Play, Live, and a new way of how people can get through the roadblocks that are design, building, renovating, planning. And what I found is that even if we have this process map, because all the different operators are basically operating in silos, the homeowner is at the cornerstone of that. They are the leader of their own project. And if the leader doesn't know what's happening or why it's happening or how to resolve it or what to do and what decisions to make, everybody around them is blind. And so designers are taking cues from the owner or from the homeowner or the property developer. The engineers are taking cues from them. Everyone is taking cues. And so I really wanted to step in as someone's advocate and say, hey, I've got the value of hindsight here. I've got 2020 hindsight here, and I can see the decision you're making right now, that really works for you right now. But in 20 years' time, in 10 years' time, in 2 years' time, it's not going to work for you for these reasons. And I would recommend that you do it this way. And because what's also happening is professional fees are becoming quite unaffordable for people. So what I'm seeing happening is they're kind of scoping down the service of designers and building designers and architects and things like that, and to make it more affordable. But then what's happening is these crucial pieces of knowledge are getting lost. And then so you're
Very
getting,
true.
yeah, and the homeowners are just getting stuck in this loop of not knowing what to do because no one's advising them. They don't have the knowledge and experience to be able to see through some of these avenues. And then they're getting stuck in these loops. Then they're not starting. And then because they're not starting, they're missing their price point, or they're missing their level of affordability. And then when they come to do it, they're blown out of the water because they haven't planned for it. They haven't budgeted properly. They don't know what to expect. And so I really wanted to sit next to the homeowner and be in as much in the problem with them than I am in the solution.
Yes, I'm actually going to call you. I'm changing your name. I'm going to call you the accidental counselor for the building industry. Because that's what
That's
you
actually
are.
fab. That's fabulous. I do a lot of that. I do.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you're in the middle of that, because me renovating myself, you said something very interesting, which means if you don't outsource to start off with, you're going to end up paying for it down the track.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Twofold.
love that you bring that out in people for them to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Build, play, live. What an amazing concept.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so proud of it.
Yeah, and you should be. And it's come from you. It's come from your learned experience, because you were in the industry. It's come from you falling on your face and getting back up again. And you continue keeping on because you have resilience. And that's a beautiful thing. So
You know
question
what?
for you. If you were to look at your 20-year-old self and you were to look in the mirror, what would you do different? What would you tell her?
Oh, wow. My 20-year-old self? Well, my 20-year-old self, my 20-year-old self got her dream job and then effed off to Japan for 2 years.
Really? I just love
Yeah.
this.
So, my 20-year-old self, straight out of uni, I got this job at a client-side project management boutique in Wellington. And I was beyond excited to do it, and I loved it. And I was like, I'm going to do this. And then this opportunity to move to Japan and teach English for a year came up, and I thought, I can't miss out. I just can't miss it. I've got to go. Got to go. So I just, everyone thought I was crazy. A graduate straight out of uni, just got this great job, this great opportunity, and like you're leaving it. And even I remember when I went in to hand in my notice, like the director was just beside himself. But so advice to my 20-year-old self is to keep doing the things that excite you.
Mm.
And don't let other people influence what excites you, because they're coming at things with a different lens and no one knows what's in your future. No one knows. So just chase the things that excite you and just keep doing you.
Yes, I
Yep.
totally agree. Keep on being you. Keep on doing the stuff that excites you. Don't listen to others, take them for a grain of salt, because they're not you. Only
Mm-hmm.
you are you. Only
Yep.
I am me. Only you are you. So, on that note, thank you so much for joining me. So, don't forget to go grab the book. Congratulations yet again. It's been an honor, and I know we'll be reconnecting very, very soon, because you're literally up the road.
Thanks for having me,
Awesome.
Kat.
Bye for now.
Bye.